Welcome, everybody. Good morning. It's 2:20 a.m. Colorado, Eastern Slope. Welcome. Don't know the temperature. I believe it's not raining out. It's a nice quiet night. What I wanted to do today, tonight, this morning, is talk to you for a short while about what I've brought up before about getting information dumped on you, meaning that in a good sense, from the universe through your portal. And that it usually occurs, it's usually about the same for everybody else, but for me it seems to be, I guess it could go actually from 12:30 to maybe sometimes even up to 3 o'clock it might occur. And it doesn't happen every night, but it happens fairly regularly for me, where I seem to get a wealth of information downloaded on me, about life and how the dots connect and why things happen the way they happen, and information for me, on how to live a better life kind of idea. It's pretty common in neuroscience, and if you have a program that you work of any kind, you will get information sent to you through the universe, which is every living creature, person in the universe, collectively in one spot. So there's infinite possibilities that exist as a result of that. And all of your answers and everything you're searching for is right there. And the energy can also be down-regulated to acquire whatever it is you're looking to do. Drinking a little coffee this morning, half and half decaf, and it really tastes good. So I'm not going to take a great amount of time, but I want to talk to you about a little bit of the downloads that are going on for me this morning. They're all good things. There's nothing bad. I look forward to them. I enjoy them. I can. It's funny. I should record what happens, but for instance, I might be laying in bed, sleeping soundly, comfortably, and all of a sudden my brain becomes awake and I start talking in a manner that I'm not always accustomed to about information, might be science, neuroscience, psychology, things of that nature, in a manner that is a little bit scary, because it's like something else takes over, not necessarily my body, in part, but my brain, and there's all of this information being poured out of my mouth as a result of it coming in through my portal. Please understand energy centers. I don't want to get into that right now, but your portal is an energy center that sits about 18 inches or so above your head. And it's where energy comes in, information comes in from a greater intelligence, a light, a source, the universe, a God, if you will. And it's just pretty incredible. So here's a thought that might apply to some people out there listening, and this is just a starting point. We can expand off of this, but you have the power to move mountains. I've talked about this before, but you have the power to heal. You have the power to heal yourself. You have the power to heal other people. Biblical times, my furnace just went on, so I hope that's not going to be a problem. I'm going to move my phone a little bit closer to me so that you can hear a little bit better and not be distracted by that sound of the furnace. But in biblical times, I mean, God came down and, of course, performed all kinds of miracles and healings, and he passed that on to the apostles, and they went on to perform miracles and healings and that kind of thing. And if you read the Bible, and boy, talk about just an entertaining, enlightening book. I can't keep my nose out of it. It's just incredible. No matter who you are and whatever your religious beliefs may be or not be, it's just a wonderful book, and please go read it. All the answers that you're looking for to whatever problems or difficulties that you have are right there, and you can get answers to stuff you've been looking for quite a while. But anyway, it goes on to talk about in there that power has been given or bestowed down onto us, human life forms. And for a while, way back, we had the power and we used it, and then it went away, and we became dumb. And we now, more recently, in the last maybe 20 years or so, have come back around to reacquiring those skills and knowledge on how to heal. That's what I do. It's called neuroscience, which is the study of your brain with your nervous system. It's really no big deal, but it's about how messages are communicated through your nervous system to different parts of your body, and therefore, how you run, right? Psychology, the other side of the coin, is pretty much just about your emotions, right? You feel depressed, or you're angry, or you're bitter, or you're happy, or you're elated, or you're sad, or it's emotions and personalities and personality disorders and psychoses and neuroses and just stuff like that. And the neat part about neuroscience is that it doesn't include emotions. This is what amazes me, and it's kind of, in the past several years, come to light. So for myself, I worked in clinical psychology for, 43 years or something like that. And neuroscience for a bunch more years after that. And psychology was taking people back and having them relive all of those emotions, right? That caused different, let's just say different kinds of trauma in a person's life. And at times it's kind of heart-wrenching to watch people have to go back through all of that stuff in order to, as we thought, to get those emotions out so that they can connect the dots, see the diagram of what happened to them, and then get a better sense of why the dots connected and they are the way they are. Neanderthal, it's old age. It doesn't apply anymore. By all means, don't go to a person that's strictly into psychology. You don't have to go back and be re-traumatized in order to get well. And neuroscience is really cool. It's really cool because it takes the same thing, problems that you're having, addresses, here's the diagram, here's why the dots connect, why you are the way you are, and here's the remedy out of it without incurring the emotions. So, do you see the difference? Psychology is the treatment of hopefully getting better, healing with the trauma of the emotions. Neuroscience is exactly the same thing without the trauma of the emotions. There is no emotional obstacles there in getting well. It's science, it's fact, it's replicated over and over and over again. You're taking the same problem, addressing the same issues, but without the emotion. You take the emotion out of it. Here's another way to look at that. There's the South. Here's an example. The South has preachers, in quotes, right? Some of them are just outstanding people with huge amounts of knowledge about life. And there's one in particular that I'm thinking about anyway. His name is John Hagee, and he's kind of like neuroscience. He's not psychology in the sense of spirituality, right? He just takes the emotion out of it, right? He says as you go through life, whatever you do, if you don't have resistance, if you don't have obstacles, if you don't have blocks, if you don't have people telling you you're doing it wrong, stop it and go do something else until you find resistance. You get that? And his remedy to people, with the emotional attachment to things is really quite funny, you know. I mean, he's an older guy, so kind of have to take it in perspective. But, you know, his deal is get over it. Get over the emotion. You're supposed to have obstacles. You're supposed to have blocks. You're supposed to have resistance. People are always going to not agree with what you're doing entirely. It isn't like you get on the train and it just is a free-flow ride through life. It's not supposed to be that way. And he says, and again, you know, this is kind of just dating him, but, you know, his approach is get over it. That's called neuroscience. We're not dealing with working through issues in psychology that are outdated, with all the emotion and all the crying and all the woe is me kind of thing, right? You know, if you're a therapist, you spend half of your 3/4 of your hour just sitting there listening to them cry. That's pretty easy money. Whereas in neuroscience, it's here's the diagram, here's the dots, here's why those neuron clusters are there, creating the problem that you have. This is science. This is just plain old stupid science. And if we just, you know, prune apart these neuron clusters or connections, right, then you do things differently. There's no emotion attached to any of that. We don't have to drag you through the mud for you to be well. So anyway, back with, you know, you have the power. You have the power to move mountains. You have the power to be somebody different than who you are. You have the power to heal yourself. You have the power to not hurt. You have the power to not have an addiction. You don't have to go around and tell everybody you have an addiction. What's the point of that? You're looking for secondary gains. You're looking for empathy. You're looking for emotions to substantiate your mood. I'm depressed. I'm sad. Nothing's going well. Nothing's going right. You're supposed to have resistance. That's part of the deal. You didn't get plunked down here by the spaceship and told you weren't going to have any resistance. So anyway, it goes on to talk about you have the power to move mountains, you know, the power to heal. But here's what the universe wants from you for that to happen. The universe wants you to ask for the power. The universe wants you to ask for help. The universe wants you to speak up. And this is neuroscience, which is a little quantum physics mechanics. And it will send down to you through angels, if you're of that belief, through portals, through downloads, through means that are supernatural that you don't need to understand. all of the answers and all of the necessary elements to be healed, and heal. In other words, as the Bible says, of course, I'm trying to connect the Bible with neuroscience is what I'm trying to do here today. But, if you ask, you will receive. That's a fact. You can't get mad and run back to psychology and deal with all the emotional crap you have going on and expect to get anywhere that you're trying to go. When you think of in terms of neuroscience and quantum mechanics, quantum physics, you're going to hit the obstacles. They're supposed to be there. Life is not always fun. There's people there that are going to not agree with what you're doing. Who cares? Get over it. If you had a disease in the past, you brought it on yourself. It's not genetic. Good Lord, please let's not go back to genetics. Genetics don't apply. You didn't get that from your family. You didn't get that from somebody in your bloodline. It has nothing to do with that. If you want me to go back through a whole episode of how you acquire disease, just contact me and I'm happy to do that. No problem at all. So it's kind of like everything is possible, but we need to be looking how we're supposed to be healed, not how we are sick. Right? When you're looking at yourself with the illness or the sickness or things not going well or the struggles that you have or the lack or whatever it happens to be, you're dealing with the emotions, which is the matter part. Remember? Matter, particles, wave, energy. So resistance, rejection, disappointment, blocks, obstacles, without these, you cannot move forward. Get over the emotion, you guys. Get over the emotion. When you're looking for something to make you happy, it's not an external thing. And I better have a little more coffee. I'm getting carried away. So it's not an external thing. It's internal. Sure, it's fun. Yeah, go do things and enjoy yourself, whatever your interest or hobbies or whatever it happens to be. Go and have fun. But it's not the end all. It's not the emotion that's going to make you well. It's the neuroscience. It's what's inside of you that determines the quality of your life. So, kind of some thoughts I had. Let me read one more of these. It just goes on to talk about It just goes on to talk about, I guess, the information and stuff that I sensed or felt or understood. It just goes on to talk about everything's going to be all right. It's not our job to worry. The universe has our backs. The obstacles are supposed to be there. And when we get stuck with the emotion, then we're going backwards. when we eliminate the emotion, as old Pastor John Hagee would say, get over it. And we start looking at what our life looks like without disease and illness. We're going in a good direction. So, kind of just some thoughts at 2:20 in the morning. I know that's a little scattered and it may not be as crisp as it could be, but, I don't know. I'm just trying to put that all together at an odd time for me to do a podcast. There's another whole aspect that I want to talk about, and that's the treatment that you get from psychology. How much time do we have? Oh, shoot. There's the treatment that you get through psychology, the treatment you get through doing neuroscience, and how those two connect and don't connect. I kind of want to do a podcast on that, but I'm running out of time. They give me 30 minutes or so to do a podcast, and then I need to kind of be done, so we're pretty close to that. Go back to bed. If you're up, go back to bed. If you're just listening to this during the daytime, please follow. And I'm more than happy to continue to do my podcast that I've been doing for, I don't know, I've probably been doing these for a couple, 2-3 years, I suppose. Used to be every single day. Now it's like every other day or so. I just have gotten busier. Self-supporting, again, my advertisement for money. Send your pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, dollars to my PayPal account, jzegar@gmail.com. That's JZEGAR @gmail.com. I sure could appreciate a little income from what I do. And I love what I do. I like what I do. Doesn't exactly pay all the time. If you guys are looking for some sort of coaching or consultation, pull me aside or send me an email or text or call me. It doesn't matter. So God bless everybody. Take care of one another, and I'll look forward to talking to y'all again real soon. Thank you. See you. Bye.